All right, thanks for joining me on another episode of Why Not Go, the channel dedicated to rock and roll, especially punk and especially the Sex Pistols. Well, this video actually has everything to do with rock and roll, but nothing to do with punk rock. This video is several locations in London that I filmed when we were there in January. We had a wonderful trip, even though we were only in London 3 or 4 days. We were in the countryside most of the time, but I got some filming done because I kept running across sites that I thought, oh my God, I can't believe that happened there. So it's several rock and roll sites in London. It's not a complete like most important rock and roll sites at all. It's really sites that I wanted to see, or sites that we came across. Everything from where the Rolling Stones started in Soho to where Jimi Hendrix played last time he played guitar on stage, and to a shop on King's Road, not that far from 430 King's Road, Seditionaries, a shop that was very famous in the 60s, and they designed clothes and had clothes for sold clothes to the Beatles and to the Rolling Stones, and it's also, I read, where Keith Richards used to go to buy drugs. So very famous store on King's Road. That's no longer there, but I always wanted to see where it was, so I filmed it. So I hope you enjoy this video. I love London. I mean, where else can you walk around like we did in Soho and you see a plaque that says, oh my God, Mozart lived there, and then just a few steps away is, where Jimi Hendrix last played guitar. It's just such an amazing place, and I feel like every time I'm there, I feel like I'm home. So as you can see, I'm missing it already. So I hope you like this video. It's kind of a potpourri of some rock and roll sites. As I said, some you may know already, but a few you may not. So hope you enjoy. All right, thanks for joining me in another episode of Why Not Go, the channel dedicated to rock and roll, especially punk rock. Well, this isn't a punk rock story, but it's definitely a rock and roll story. We're standing just opposite the Sounds of the Universe record shop. It's so nice there's record shops still around. And back in the 60s, this was the Bricklayer Arms pub. And in May of 1962, this is where Brian Jones auditioned for a new band he wanted to start up, a rhythm and blues band. I think he put an ad in Jazz News, and but I'm not sure Mick and Keith came from that. I think they came from another source. But anyway, it was an open audition, and lots of people showed up, and apparently it was up on the second floor, which I don't think we can get into. So this is where the Rolling Stones were born. The audition was in May, and then just a few months later, they did their first gig at the Marquee. So that's neat. And I'm just going to read a little bit in Keith's own words about this. I went to the Bricklayer Arms, a seedy pub in Soho, for the first time, for the first rehearsal, what turned out to be the Stones. I think it was May of '62, lovely summer evening just off Wardour Street, Strip Alley, I guess, strip clubs. I get there, I've got my guitar with me, and as I get there, the pub's just open. Typical brassy blonde, old barmaid. Not many customers, stale beer. She sees the guitar and says, upstairs. I walked up those stairs, creak, creak, creak. In a way, I walk up those stairs and come down a different person. Isn't that neat? So this is where the Rolling Stones were born, right here on the corner of Duck Lane and what's the other street we're on? I think it's Broderick Street, right across from Agent Provocateur. So I love this. Rock and roll history. It's everywhere in London. I can't get enough of it. All right, well, thanks for watching this short one. Until the next time, I'll be seeing ya. And we'll just do a close-up of that historic location where one of the best bands in the world started in May of 1962. All right, more historic locations in Soho. We're on First Street. I'm just outside of Ronnie Scott's and Bar Italia. And Ronnie Scott's is obviously a very important jazz club, but in rock and roll history, it's very famous for being Jimi Hendrix's last performance. He got on stage with Eric Burdon and War. I think it was at the end of their set. It was September 16th, 1970, and performed a couple of songs. And I'm not sure what songs he performed. Let me just look on my phone. He performed blues for Memphis Slim and Tobacco Road. And he joined Eric Burdon and War for 2 songs at the end of their set. So this was his final performance because unfortunately he died 2 days later. So a bit of rock and roll history here on First Street in beautiful Soho in London. So 6 Masons Yard. All right, we're walking down Mason's Yard, looking for the gallery where Yoko was doing her art and John Lennon walked in. Beautiful place. I love these little side streets. Alright, so now we're at number 6. And this is where Yoko had her art exhibition back in 1966. And John Lennon walked in, and that was it. Oh, this is neat. Must have been inside here, probably on the ground level. Thank you. Beautiful. I always remember reading that she had an exhibit where there was a ladder, and then the ladder went up to the ceiling, and I believe she had on the ceiling the word yes. So I thought that was neat. Interesting. I forget what it was called. I think it was called the Indica Gallery. So here's where they met in 1966. Okay, so just opposite it was called the Indica Gallery, where John Lennon met Yoko Ono in, I think it was November 1966. Just over here is a nightclub called the Scotch. It was started in 1965, and I think it was a private club back then too. It's a private club now, and this is where The Who debuted their album Tommy, and it's also where Jimi Hendrix signed a contract with Chaz Chandler of the Animals for a track he signed to Track Records. So Jimi Hendrix was hanging out in here with Chaz from the Animals. Looks like it's a small kind of bar, private club. Love it. Mason's Yard. Lots of rock and roll history here. Jimi Hendrix, The Who. I bet a lot of other people went in there too. And then right over here, the gallery where John Lennon, I think from what I've read, she was just setting up her art. And he came, I guess, to kind of preview it. And he met her, and that was the beginning of their story together. 6 Mason's Yard. There's still galleries around here. Love it. One more look at it was called the Indica Gallery. One more look at that. And right over there, the Scotch House. Rock and roll bar in the 1960s. I love it. Bye, Yoko. That was fun to see where you met John Lennon. It was November 1966. Oh, that's it. That's why there's a ladder there.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. That's so great. I'm just gonna... I love it. Yes. That's great. Yes. All right, another rock and roll location, Cafe Royale. That was where in 1973, at the end of the Ziggy Stardust tour, David Bowie had his after party with Mick Jagger there and Lulu and a bunch of people. So I guess it's still there, right near Piccadilly Circus. Cafe Royale. I always think of David Bowie and Ziggy Stardust. I think Lou Reed was at that party too. Oh, I love it. I was here. Oh, I love it. I love the ceiling. So this is where David Bowie had his after party, the Ziggy Stardust after party. I love it. Cafe Royale. I just love how you look through there and you're looking at a different spot. I love how there's mirrors everywhere. Everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, there's a mirror. Beautiful. Entryway to the Cafe Royale, which is a hotel. I didn't realize it. Beautiful. Right off Piccadilly Circus. Beautiful place. David Bowie had good taste. I love it.
All the pictures with your phone.
All right, so we're here on Savile Row. It's a busy street. We're outside 3 Savile Row. And this was where Apple Records was. And they have a plaque up there. The Beatles played their last concert on the roof. January 30th, 1969, which is 56 years ago. Oh my God, that's amazing. 3 Savile Row.
Maybe their first live performance in
Wow. Just gonna get a That's neat. I always wondered where this was. Whew. A lot of construction going on. Yeah, they played their last performance way up there. I've seen videos of it where people were like looking up in the street. So great. I'm gonna get out of the road a little bit. Oh, that's better. This is safer. Hey, Apple Records. Last performance way up there. January 30th, 1969. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but I always wanted to see this. All right. So that was just a few short clips of some other rock and roll locations. They're not punk rock, but I don't know, they're still interesting. I love London. Everywhere you turn, there's something. One more look. One more look at where they last played, way up there. 3 Savile Row. Yeah, that was a rock venue back in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, the last place I saw Joy Division. All right, we're at the Savoy. We're at the Savoy. This is the entrance.
So who's that here?
Judy Garland, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right, we're just off the Strand by the Savoy Hotel, and we're looking for the Bob Dylan Subterranean Blues steps, or alley. Here we go. Interesting, it's just off the Strand. I didn't know that. I think it's here. That's the Savoy there. I think it's here. Though it could be around here, but I don't think so. He said you turn left, but it looks like this to me. Could be here. Maybe it's here. Oh, look at the river. Oh my God, so pretty.
bring it up.
Yeah, I think we'll have to bring it up. All right, we found it, Savoy Steps. Right here behind the Savoy Hotel is the famous alley where Bob Dylan did the video for Subterranean Homesick Blues, where you see Allen Ginsberg in the background. I love that song. That's so cool. I always wanted to see this. This is great. And we're just in an alley behind the Savoy Hotel, which is just over here around the corner. And the River Thames is just to the left. Wow. That's one of my favorite Dylan songs. Subterranean Homesick Blues. Right here. That's so great.
You might want to do standing there, Bob Dylan. What you would have seen, like facing.
Oh yeah. So I'm standing where Bob would have been when he had those cards. I love that. He would have been looking right at this beautiful building here. I wonder if he was staying at the Savoy. He must have been, to come out here and do a video. Love this old church. Wow. London is so full of history of every kind. We made it, Joe.
Big crisis.
Here.
Where's the... I was going to say if you can bring it. Oh, never mind. Just
We're here.
Fix it. I got this toilet paper here from the theater. Gonna write on this toilet paper
I love
roll.
this.
Gotta write some good stuff.
Subterranean Blues.
And I still do it.
Subterranean Blues Alley.
Yeah.
I love it. We made it.
We did it, Precious.
That's cool. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm on Kings Road, and right there was where Mary Quant had her boutique called Bazaar. She started a fashion revolution right there where it says Joe the Juice. And I think she started there in the 50s. And next door was a pub called the Markham. And that was a popular pub, I think, for punks and also for in the gay culture. Nothing's going on there now. Mary Quant and the Markham. All right, I'm back on the Kings Road, and I'm back a little bit further down from World's End Shop. And right across the street from me, I'll show it in a minute, was a very famous store back in the 60s called Granny Takes a Trip. It was at 488 Kings Road, which is where I am now. So I'll just swing the camera around and you can see it there. The sidewalk's kind of busy, so I'll just kind of zero in on it. And I guess I can come right over. Oh, I can come a little closer. So Granny Takes a Trip was a really, so it's right there, 488 Kings Road. And, oh good, it can be right here. It's a little noisy, but that's okay. Granny Takes a Trip was a really popular boutique. It was kind of considered the first psychedelic boutique. It was opened by Nigel Weymouth and Sheila Cohen and John Pierce, and it was opened February 1966, so wow. And then it was acquired by someone named Freddie Hornick in 1969, and it remained open until the mid-70s. And it was also known as the first psychedelic shop on Kings Road. I love that. And then, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. And it was was also the name, Granny, I always love the name, Granny Takes a Trip. It was also the name of a song in the 1960s by Purple Gang, which was named after the store and banned by the BBC. That's funny. And the Rolling Stones, this is one of their favorite shops because they used to live right close by on Edith Grove, and others shopped here as well, including the Beatles and Barbra Streisand. And it closed in 1974, so I think that's kind of interesting because this was going at the same time Malcolm and Vivian started their store, which is just up that way at 430 Kings Road. Malcolm and Vivian started in the back of a shop called Paradise Garage in 1971. So at one point in the early 70s, this store, Granny Takes a Trip, and also Malcolm and Vivian's store were also selling clothes on the Kings Road. So I think that's neat. I always love the name of this store, Granny Takes a Trip. And I could just imagine the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and whomever going in there and shopping. So much rock and roll history on Kings Road. I love it. Absolutely love it. Just going to zero in a little bit more. Granny Takes a Trip. From 1966 to 1974 on the Kings Road. Wish I could go back in time. But just wanted to pay homage. All right. All right, this is just a close-up of Granny Takes a Trip. Like I said, I just love the name. Doesn't look like it was a very big store. Probably kind of like Malcolm and Vivian's. It was just kind of, maybe it was 1 or 2 levels. Doesn't look like it was big at all. But yeah, 488 Kings Road. And just down the road, probably 1 block or 2, is Edith Grove, where the Rolling Stones used to live. Yeah, they were around here, not just on Edith Grove, but once they started making money, they were just, you can't see it now, but just over there by the river when they bought their mansions, just past this big housing development. Kings Road. I love it. Thanks, thanks for bearing with me. For another video. I'm just going to pan out a little bit. Another rock and roll stop. Not punk rock, but another rock and roll stop on the Kings Road. Granny Takes a Trip. Thanks for watching. I'll be seeing you. One more look. It's a chandelier shop. Times have changed. No more psychedelic boutiques. Now it's a chandelier shop. Oh well. What are you gonna do? I still love the Kings Road. Such an awesome place. Tomorrow we're leaving.
Yeah.
So until the next time.
Until the next time.
Yeah. We'll be
seeing you.
We'll be seeing you. You're so cute.